Good morning. Our hand today is going to be Pocket Kings. In this hand, the first two players limp. We are playing six-handed right now, but this is a full table. This is 5NL2. So the first player is playing 37-4. He's got 52 hands on him. This is technically mid position. His limp first sin stats 2 out of 7. Like 30%. I'm going to go ahead and give him a range that looks something like this. I took out Jacks plus Ace Queen. I assume he would have raised with those hands. Could be wrong. Yeah, I mean, he's got Ace 7 that he called. Limp and called to raise with 8s plus, Queen 7, Queen 10 off. Yeah, it's probably decent. 8s, limps and re-raise. So I think it's pretty decent. So I'm going to go with that. I'm actually going to go with the same range for the second player too. This is his second hand. I don't have anything else, so I'm just going to say that's his hand. It folds around to me, and I raised 8. I think this is a standard play. So we've got our always isolate range and optional isolate range. I'm going to use my optional because I'm trying to play wider. And in this case, if I see a limp and an unknown, I'm going to probably go ahead and raise here just to try to isolate him, even with some weaker hands like in this set here, and even like the Ace 5, Ace 4. And I'd look at the Ace 5, Ace 4 knowing that, well, if I have an ace, there's fewer aces out there. So I make that raise. Big blind folds. The first guy folds. And next guy calls. And the question is, what does he call with? I think here versus this raise, I'm going to get rid of some of these weaker hands. As a loose player, we'll leave the connectors. Something like that is what I'll give him for calling. Flop comes down. Jack 10-2. We made a pretty big raise. I feel like this is time to go ahead and c-bet here. I think if we were going to mix it up, having the King of Hearts would have definitely been better. But we don't have the King of Hearts. I think having the King of Hearts, we could have feel more confident in our raise, knowing that if we get called and we might be behind, we have possibility of improving, catching that backdoor flush. But I think since we raised and isolated, we're going to be putting on a strong front. So if we go for just a raise or c-bet, I think we're doing our straights or sets or two pairs or over pairs. I think our top pair twos are probably betting. I think we're betting our flush draws. Probably all of our flush draws here. That includes some of our straight potential cards. So, 9-8, 8-7. I think we're betting open enders. Gut shots, I think, are also there. I think with our gut shots, we're going to have to be just a little careful and what we bet. Like Ace King, Ace Queen. I think it definitely favor the hands that with a heart. But I think that helps get us to where we're at. And then I think with middle and second pair, we could possibly go ahead and bet all of them here, middle and second pair. And if we do that, then, we're probably about 50-50. We're betting a lot, and we probably should. Problem, though, is that this hand is likely going to connect with a lot of this guy's range. So I don't think I'm going to be expecting a whole lot of folds, and that's why we're going to probably need a double barrel to get the job done. Maybe even a triple barrel. I see jacks calling. I see tens calling. I bet any gut shot or straight draw is probably going to call. Flush draws are definitely going to call. But then again, we may get quite a few folds. So, you know, I'm going to say those hands that call probably top pair plus, probably middle pair. I think these cards will probably just fold. Your flush draw, your open-ended straight draws are probably calling, and then questionable ones would be like your gut shots. Do the gut shots call or not? Do the overcards call or not? So we're looking at like 65%. We're at like 35%. I expect him to fold, and I think that's why I lean kind of towards betting these middle pairs and bottom pairs. Get the folds. Let's get our equity. Let's get out of here with those hands and be done with it. So I think we are about 90% is what we're c-betting. Did I do that? Yeah, I did. I bet half pot. That's okay. We could probably go down to like 6 to a third pot on a board like this. That's probably not terrible. Terrible decision, because I think the hands that call 9 are also calling hands with 6 and vice versa. So I think we're pretty inelastic, at least in terms of that sizing. If we go larger, it could be different. So he does call. So I think we kept the ranges there. And then the 10 comes out. Now that's pretty good if we had that middle pair. Definitely pretty good if we had the middle pair. I would go ahead and bet again with the middle pair. Now that we have the 3 of a kind, I would be continuing to bet, I think, quads, full house, 3 of a kind. Not sure if I'd be doing top pair. Top pair could be a check call at this point. But kind of comes down to what do we think he's going to be calling here. So if I bet he's probably just calling quads, he's probably just calling full house. 3 of a kind is going to probably be a raise. He's going to probably call top pair. And then he's probably calling flush draws and open enders. So he's probably, I don't think we're going to have a whole lot of fold equity. So when we bet, I think we're betting all of our top pair plus for value. I think if we get raised, we can safely fold these hands. So if we get raised, I think we give up some value, but I almost feel like he's going to have the 10 at least. I don't think a full house is going to be raising. So I think it's just I think that's what we're targeting. So something like this. I think we still bet with our second card. 9s are decent because we block that king queen straight. And I think if we check on the river, so if we bet and he calls and we check on the river, I don't think he's going to bet king queen. So we could get some value from these low cards just by betting now and then check calling or checking the river and get that free showdown. I think kind of the same thing with top pair. Any of his misdraws, he's just going to check behind. At 5 NL, I don't think they're going to be bluffing as much. So I think that's going to be my betting, which isn't bad, 50-50. So let's see what I do. I bet half pot. So here's, again, bet sizing. I think if I bet 6 as a C bet and he calls 6, we are now at 30. And then we could bet, instead of betting 18, we could go up to 15. So we could save ourselves now three bets, 3 big blinds. Just by sizing down a little bit. We could go up to 15. We could also size up, but I don't think this is a board where we necessarily want to size up. Because I think he's going to connect too well with these. So I did bet he calls. So I think we have the ranges all picked out. Yep. And then the river's a 2. It's actually pretty good now. I don't think it improves. It's not going to improve any flushes, any straights. Was he calling with the 2? Probably not. So I think the only hand we have to worry about is that 10. And I kind of suspect that he would have at least check raised it. So, oops, let's go back here. So he didn't check raise it. So I'm going to kind of think that he doesn't have 3 of a kind at this point. So I want to make sure that is out. All right, let's get that 2 back in there. So now its question is, if I bet, what is he going to call with? Definitely he's calling quads full house. It's 12%. Would he call top pair? Maybe. And I think that's what we're targeting. We're going to target top pair, which should be the bulk of his range, and nothing. But nothing's not going to call it. I don't think ace high is going to call. So we're going to go out of like the 49%, almost 50% that he calls. 3/4 of that's going to be with top pair. That's what we're going to target. Pot 72. We have 65. If I just shove all in, would he call? He might. He probably does call top pair. I think it's probably worth it. What am I risking? Let's pull out the calculator. So I would be risking 25. So 65 plus 72 plus 65. Risk over risk plus reward. 32%. 32%. He wouldn't. I don't think he's. Yeah, he would. Well, that's his call. Risk over risk plus reward. I said break even percentage, 32%. I'm risking 65 to win 72. So, what would I do? I think if I want to win, I'm doing 72 to win 65. Oops, sorry, to win 65. So it's 1.1 to 1. So 1.1 over 2.1, 52%. I think we're actually 48%. I think we need 48%. 47%, a little more than 47%. We need to be good about 47%, and I do think we have that. So I think that would be a decent bet, and we could actually check it. So if we bet 65, I'm going to say he's calling 49% of the time, and of that 49, so we'll do 51%. So 51%. 51% of the times I win that 72. And then the other 49% I get called. And of the times I get called, 0.75, I win what's in the pot, 72 plus 65, and his call. And then the other 25% of the time, I lose my 65 that I just bet. So, is that right? 121. That's the EV, positive EV, so we should be betting. So I bet 36. I think that was, I think I could go higher. I like the bet. I'm going to keep with the bet here. Whoops. And I think with that, that's just straight up. If I did overpair plus, we can also go more. If I bet everything, if I do everything, I'm 30% chance to win versus that range. that's, I was just calculating the king, so just ranges. Let's check that range. All right, so yeah, we're gonna do the range. So again, it was 49%. 49%, I win that what's in the pot, and then the 51% of the time, I think that was right. At 49, he calls. Oh no, yeah, that's reversed. Clear it. Okay, so 51% at the time, I win that what's in the pot. Times 72 plus. All right, there. Let's get that. I think I may have messed up there. 0.51 times 72 plus 0.49, he calls. All right, so the times I win, so it looks like 31% of my range, I will win that 72 plus his call of 65, and then the other at 70, 69, 69% of the time, I will lose my initial bet. So close that out. 34. So I think that's a positive EV, and that assumes again that he's going to call with this, and that he's not, if we bet smaller, he doesn't call with ace high or anything else. So I like the bet. I don't think I like the sizing. So he does call. We see the river. He shows pocket fives, and that's different because I assumed I removed those fives were in his hand. Where did I take him out? I guess I took him out of here. I assumed he would have folded. So once he goes there, and this is crazy. That's a very, very loose call. So once he has there, and then we get 10 of spades out here, and we add that, there's even more weaker hands on here. So then I think if we say he's going to call any pair, this is becoming even better. Yeah, we should have bet just all in. If he's gonna call that weakly, we should be sizing up. So we need to take a note of this guy, how he played. Limp call to raise 5-5. I didn't want to look at it because I knew we didn't have a whole lot of hands, but I think this is worthwhile to know that this guy called. So limp call. In hijack versus SB 8BB ISO with 5 of hearts, 5 of clubs, and then he calls half pot, calls half pot, call half pot on a jack of hearts, 10 of clubs, 2 of hearts, 10 of spades, 2 of diamonds. Yeah, that's good to know. Don't bluff him without a pair, but if we've got a pair, top pair plus, just value bet him. I think he calls. He didn't believe me. So, all right. I think overall in this hand, I think bet sizing. kind of hurt me. I think sizing down a little bit, and then I think we can also keep it down, or we can go up against this guy. Bet sizing was fine. Half pot, and then that kind of opens us up to almost a pot size bet on that river, and that's what we should have done. I think even against more sane players, I think we shove all in on that river, and we'll get called, and we'll maximize our EV. All right, hopefully you like this hand. If you do, look tomorrow for another. Pretty soon we will be transitioning to pocket pairs on the button, or in late position anyways.